Welcome to our Monday morning meetups. We will do this every Monday. I'm not. Yes, we are not saving the world. Let me go ahead and get that right on together. Right on together. 'Cause absolutely not. That's what this meeting is about. This is a state of emergency. I have seen more black women online within their families mad, upset, and angry because y'all are trying to make people behave that don't know how to behave. Save yourself. And if you got a family, save your family. But beyond that, we're not entitled to do no more than that at all. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. However you got here. We're so happy to have you here with Black women that's standing on business. I want to welcome you to Hypocrisy New Life Tabernacle Foundation of Black Americans, divested descendants of Western Heritage Ensemble and Restoration Incorporated. I want to say good morning to my Black women, my Black queens, my Black teens, girls, and all those in between. We are so excited to have you in the home of hypocrisy today. We want to welcome you, let you know you're welcome. This is a space where we hold Black women safe, sacred, and supported. We do not tolerate Black women being disrespected. So take your shoes off, mind your manners, like they say in a good old country church. You are welcome, welcome, welcome. But we want you to please govern yourself to the announcements. So this week, because I already see his folks acting up, I want to know if we are going to hold each other in high regard and stop casting our pearls amongst the swine. Can we commit to stop hate watching, the red pill, uh, certain sectors hate watching? Um, why are we there? And I want us to be fair because there is a desire sometimes to just be around and consume a little bit of garbage. But the garbage that you taking in, we gotta find a happy medium. Like I'm willing to say, if you're gonna do a little bit of garbage, like a little bit, okay. But if the garbage is just no balance, you're not getting nothing good for yourself, you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not happy, and you being in that space is making you sick because a lot of us are getting stressed out, freaking out, looking around like, Lord, I'm so glad LB to have you here. You know, you're my boo. And I love that she said, are we the Black women saving the world again? We're not. Collectively on November the 5th, and this is one thing that I want us to really be in alignment with, is we have pretty much in alignment. You had what Black women, I think, were at 92%. Black men were at 80%. Those that participated in voting, those that stayed home, ended up still. We are not that far. We're not that far behind. We're just not. So I just want us to really be honest with ourselves. But I want us to be very, very mindful about where we are spending our space, our time, and our energy. So I've seen on the TikTok a few white women are jumping, where are the Black women and where's the coalition? We did what we were supposed to do on November on the 4th. Please stand down. Stand down. Do what when it's time, we'll all get together and say, you know what? All right. We might need to get active, but for right now, we are resting. And I'm asking you that because I want to know, and these are just questions for today, and then you can answer them in the comment, but I want to know, what are the benefits of you being in spaces that are causing you to reach in a road? And I'm going to be starting the yoga session soon. I'll enter the yoga station. But to reach in a road means to stop the mental fluctuations of the mind. Richie is craziness. And we all know that the definition of crazy is what? To do the same thing over and over and expect different results. We have tried allyship. We have tried to be in community, and collectively, they have told us no thank you. And we're going to honor that. We will be just fine. But while we being still and resting, I want to know if where you are spending your time has a purpose. Are you being fed or are you being starved? Are you getting something out of there? So I think some of us have a what did Cat Williams say? In a strange alliance to losers, but also we are so used to being in unhealthy, revved up situations to where we will be in places that it either is no longer serving you, or if you are going to still be in that space, you have to be mindful about how much time you're spending. An example, like I said, I saw a TikTok where one white woman, I was going to pull it up and I just said, no, I'm not going to give that lady no shine because I believe wholeheartedly that that rage bait, it's a thing. It's a thing. They are trying to bait us in and we're not going to be moved. So the purpose of the sisterhood is a place where we can take off our shoes, let our hair out, laugh as loud as we want to, cry as often as we need to. It's where we can just be unapologetic. Black women. Now, in the name, I cannot wait to get these braces off. With all the changes and stuff, with the, y'all all know, outside has changed quite a bit. So it's just some moving parts, but we're going to get it together. So, again, what's the cost of you being in spaces that don't serve you? Are you feeling better? Is it having an effect? Are you feeling hopeless? Um, don't be anywhere where you start to have like no hope. Now, I'm real. This whole thing, I gotta say, I got the Obama burn. Hope makes me kind of start to tickle itch. I think a lot of people have stayed in again bad situations off of hope, belief, potential. If it's not fruitful after some time, you got to walk away from it. I want to know when we're being in these spaces, are we standing on Black women's business in these hostile spaces? Why are you holding forth there? And I have to thank PhD Diva for that. She put something out there and she said, you know, one day y'all gonna stop going to these spaces where it's not woman centered, and I mean Black woman centered, because this is a Black woman centered space. Um, I myself have known to be on the toxic side of places. And I'm even asking myself, which is why I'm not saying don't, like that would be a hypocritical statement to be like, don't watch it. I'm not saying that. I'm going to say if you're going to be 2 or 3 hours in a space that's not feeding you, you need to give yourself 4 to 5 hours of good content, trash in, trash out. And the thing that we need to do is be about other women, Black women, and I'm always going to talk about the 5 Bs, where we're going to buy Black, build Black, bank Black, barter Black, and bequeath Black. And that you can do it with other Black women. Um, I wholeheartedly believe that the next 2 to 3 years, if we do this right, if we really get to um, being about our business, if we are mindful, I think that this is a time where we can build community, and everybody's not going to be for everybody. So I am under no illusion that we no we can be in one large subset where we don't move in ways where we harm each other, and then there are going to be people that are probably going to build in silos with other like-minded groups, and that's just all I want us to focus on. You ain't got to like everybody. You definitely not going to like everybody, but we can hold each other with some regard, right? And we can also be a little bit more gentle with each other, because I know I don't think we have any delusion about what was going on again. November the 5th, we knew what it was. But now that we know what it is, please stop begging for allyship with people that do not want to be allies. I've seen people get on the internet and say, oh, Melania, if you need help, blink twice. Melania is just fine. She's where she wants to be. I'm gonna say this, and black women, please hear me. I wish I could play God specializes because I have been around correct people my entire life. White women are never going to vote like black women. Their spouses are white men. It is in their best business to align and vote with people that look like them. If you ever want to just get a little, nosy, go on by, swing by Twitter, YouTube, or the TikToks, and you will see woman after woman after woman say how she voted for somebody and didn't know what the platform was. Also, they get the right to be a single voter. We can't have that type of focusedness. We have to be a little bit more well rounded. We have to ensure that we're not in alliance with people that would cause us harm. In general, most white women benefit from whiteness. They are okay with being on the master's leash as long as they get the water first. So come out of that. Please come out of that. You want to build in a line and tarry and pray. It ain't gonna happen. Not now, not ever. If you didn't see in 2016, they didn't vote for who? Hillary. They kind of voted for all white men and Biden. But if you thought they was finna march up and let this black, Asian, I don't know what Kamala's mix is, because child, we ain't even on that. She's close enough to blackness that they ain't having it. If we look at the stats, and I want us to really think about this, and I'm being a little tongue in cheeky because we got our church music, but I think sometimes we got to get all the way down to what we know. Y'all, they marry white men. They benefit from staying in to whiteness. If you ever want to see something, please go up and look at the slave laws. And a lot of those laws that had to be created was because of how white women were so cruel to people in slavery. They were almost worse. They were killing children and tarring children, and this was the husband's children. So if she's that cold back then, they're not that evolved. And you please don't get in these comments feeling away. I promise you, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm just going to mind my black business. If you know me from back in the day, my original YouTube was BWMN, Black Woman Minding My Business. And that's what I need for us to do. I need for us to mind our business. I see that they're kind of on Jasmine Crockett's neck. So next week we are going to do a little segment on her because I want us to take this time again to educate ourselves, become more politically savvy. So we need to find out about the politics, cover Project 2025. We need to understand how that's going to affect Black women, and then start to see who we need to look at as far as if we get to be in like a pack or a lobbying group, what kind of political power can we mobilize and plan out? Now, mind you, this right here is for the public. But when we get to planning and doing everything, it will be behind. It will be behind. Everything ain't for everybody. And I'm not going to be like some of y'all, where y'all have the people on your platform. I'm never going to entertain the person that would entrap me. I'm not that kind. Some of y'all got real good hearts. No, not I. So the other question that I want us to ask and kind of ponder on is, as we build new community and new tribe, what is gatekeeping going to look like? So is it going to be, for me, I ain't taking no picnic invites. I ain't taking no cookout invites. And if you come to my cookout, if you bring somebody that don't look like us, your invitation gonna be revoked. And you probably ain't gonna get a new invite for a long time. So move how you want to move in your places. But if this is to be a safe space, We cannot have people that would smile in our face and then play in our face. I heard somebody say today that why do y'all always talk about slavery? White people were slaves too. Yeah. One, this is why we need to be relearned because I ain't in the business of teaching them. They've had access to education much longer, and we still the smartest people out here. We're still the most educated, still opening the most businesses. And what I see, all of this is a direct assault to Black women and daring to be better. Black women and daring to be in leadership positions. Uh, Black wealth is less than 2% of the American economy. And these people are willing to tank it all for less than 2%. And you have got to bring that in your head. They want to blow up education. Why? Who's benefiting from that? You want to blow up any type of loans or benefits. Who's using those and benefiting from that? If you don't see this, it's not just an assault on Blackness. This is about Black women and being successful. Receive that in your spirit. Go back, look and see who's really been growing. And I'm gonna say this one time. We do not hate Black men over here. We embrace our brothers and the brothers that want to walk with us, be in community, build, and you prove yourself to be safe. And that's after you vetted by several people. Um, we can be in community for sure. That's the desire. The desire is for us to build and grow. But I also think sometimes the best way to grow, especially with some of the gender stuff that we have going on, is Black women really got to be about holding other Black women accountable. And then men have got to be about the business of holding other men accountable. And I think that's one place where we as Black women, quite honestly, we're going to have to step up a bit. Next week, I'm going to start talking about today is about the company and where we're spending our time. And that's just your social time, parasocial relationships. What are you looking at? But then the next question you ought to be, are you willing to lay with somebody that, if anything were to happen, if a child were to come up, if you needed to get some gas, could you depend on that person? And if it's a not, you probably should not have any type of intimate relationships with this person at all. If you don't and can't say that you know without a shadow of a doubt, if something happens, that person got your back, baby girl, walk away. You're wasting your time and theirs, okay? So gatekeeping, what does that look like? In these new Black safe Black women spaces are all welcome. I'm saying not at my barbecue, not at my picnic, not at the tabernacle. Everybody else is free to do what they want to do in their own home. I do want to show a great deal of appreciation to Black women. I've had quite a few of y'all stop by. LB just stopped by. Chalk stopped by on Saturday. Very sexy red. I think Venus swung by. I've had some people be very supportive, and it's going to be small and organic because I'm at a point to where I want to build my own community, my own tribe. I understand the value and the benefit of parasocial relationships, and you can have fulfilling, really interesting engagement. But you also have to understand that if you are at somebody else's house, then whoever guests they want to have, then that's, for them. And the minute that they may have somebody that's not necessarily for you, you don't get to tell them who to have in their home. You have to exit. And I'm not saying you never got to go back, but again, be mindful of where you're spending time, right? Just be mindful. Um, like I said, I want to give a warm appreciation to the Black women, the mom, the sisters, the friends, the daughters, wives. I'm grateful for your leadership. I am grateful for your guidance. I'm grateful to the unwavering dedication to building yourself, and that in helps build us. If you have any kind of like praise reports, anything great going on, please share. Let us come in, cheer you on. I think that's one thing that we really need to do is get really good at giving each other like atta girls and recognizing the positive things that we have going on. There is a time that, we know, but we can really come and get gather together and just be excited. LB said that's interesting. I'm gonna say this. I've had some growth, at this big old age, and we will be in spaces with each other, and we will love people down, but it's still their space, and we don't get to tell other people how to manage their home. That's not a right of ours. What we do is we get to say, okay, this is a different, direction than where I really feel interested in. Um, Take an assessment and then keep pushing. And here's the other thing that I've really been pondering on and thinking about our brothers. And oftentimes you will hear them and seem, it's not as, it seems as if they're obtuse or aloof. And I want us to be really honest and think about if you do have a Black brother, cousin, partner, or Black male that you're close to, and think about his proximity to whiteness. Um, Black men have always dated white out. They've dated white women since, oh, the targeted part. Yeah, LB, I don't. Here's the thing: ain't nobody gonna tell us what it really is. But if we're the most educated, if we started the most businesses during the pandemic, if we've had the most success in the past couple of years with full access, why are you getting rid of DEI? Because they want to say DEI is Black. No, they think Black woman. That's what they think. And because we share, because we are at the bottom, and this is something that even my husband and I have talked about it. And I'm like, I really, a piece of me, I get frustrated, but then I also have to understand that his experience is different than mine. I thrive in my Blackness. They thrive in patriarchy. Patriarchy is for who? Men. If you want to think about rights, who voted first? White women or Black men? Black men benefit from the patriarchy. So again, their alignment to whiteness in white men is going to be completely different. And I almost feel like it's a tool that we have to understand that you only know what you know. And I'll give an example of, let's see how I can set this up. Oh, and I have some new tools that we're going to work with too, but just for visual sake, let's see, bring this down a little bit. This is Black women. This is everybody else. This, white women. Black men. White men. So look at all of these layers that you got to get through to understand where we are at the bottom. Now, the preview, and I believe that's why we've had so much successes. And when you look it up, you get to see how the game is played by everybody else. But you also are going to, what they say, poop rolls downhill. So be aware of that it may roll down, but we still, we still, in whatever environment is presented, we thrive. Our issue is we want to bring everybody with us, and everybody ain't gonna come. And we want to share because we know what it feels like to be starved out. So if you've always been hungry and you get a little piece of food, you're gonna, eat a little bit, you're more reserved with it. You take some and then put some to the side, and another person's just used to it. What they gonna do? Gobble it. Then when it's starved out, They looking at you and you're like, well, dang, I know I'm hungry. Let me give you. And again, I'm not saying don't share. What I'm saying is don't give yours away until it is absolutely necessary. And if you are going to give it away, it needs to be with the person that you know if you starving, they have your back. Ask yourself very simple things. If I was stuck on the side of the road right now, could I call you and you would cash at me some gas or help me out? And if I gotta wonder, we are too vulnerable to allow ourselves to continue to be put in these strict bags. So we don't have these press meetings. I want for Black women to stop. I'm begging y'all, stop asking, oh, are you okay? No. If they need help, they got to ask for it. And if they've had provisions far longer than you, these people are towers ahead of you on the rank of what we say white men, Black men, white women, everybody else, and then us. And you looking down here for me to, no, I'm not a resource. You should never want to take from me. Absolutely not. And because we give and we give and we give and we give, oh, they gonna come fix it. Are they out there yet? Y'all see ain't no violence happening. Nobody got harmed at none of these gatherings. They've been what? They've been outside at Tesla and at the White House and the troops. I think March 14th, Pi Day, they had it was at the state capitol. All of the veterans went just to kind of gather and get information, and that's what you see a lot of people doing is a lot of grassroots things. Um, Use Target as an example. I did not know that Target had pissed off LGBTQ as well, but apparently they got them earlier. Again, those of us that are towards the bottom, we don't have to be very aware of like what's happening. And hear me when I say this. I am not saying that trans women are Black women. I'm saying who they go after first. It's a again, it's a caste system. It's very easy to go at trans people because most of us do not connect. We don't have a very good understanding of gender, sex, how it's assigned, how it's weaponized. Just that alone is enough to get us in some precarious situations because again, we're not doing no allies. I'm saying look at the people that are at the bottom and see what's happening with them and then move accordingly, right? So let's see, we talked about Jasmine Crockett. I am going to go over her uh, next week. This past Saturday, I went over Dr. Ben Yoakum. The message was, you have no friends. You have no friends. Go back, watch the playback. Uh, the day before that, I featured Dr. Julia Hare, and she talked about the status of like Black relationships and children, and that was from 2007. And when I'm telling you, the person that was talking before her, the segment before was Kamala, and Kamala was talking about the law in 2006-7, and it don't sound no different. So one, can we please stop chasing our tails? What we need to do is out there. The plan is out there. How we need to go about it. We just have to do a much better job of gatekeeping. It's not something that we typically do, but it's a must. They can't tell you no more that they don't care. Again, we on the YouTube. Go look and just pull up. They are freaking out about segregation. And I know a lot of us was like, haha, bring it back. Mind you, I'm from the South, and I'm from the country. So it ain't never left. It's still a railroad track. It was very much clear. Y'all here, we there. But that allowed me to have a Black doctor, Black nurses, Black churches. I grew up maybe the Black college, East Texas State. It might be 5 or 10 minutes away from my home church. You have Jarvis that's not far. So I have always seen successful Black businesses. I find that New York would make me so afraid and so nervous. One, it's just too many people, but I think part of why we have the things that we do is the South never integrated very well. Um, the North, y'all are on top of each other, and because y'all live in such close proximity, I think the relationship again is very different. And that's when I have to like listen and take into like, where is this person from? How did they grow up? What are they relating to? Because you can come in and as soon as you come in, I'm assessing the threat. I'm like, oh wow, ooh, why you here? Wait a minute. Why you being nosy? This don't feel right. And other people like, no, let them stay. Don't be like that. Uh-uh. Why are you here? I don't have no desire to be in an all white space. Those days for me, praise the Lord, are done. I did them. I understand a lot of times based on profession, sometimes we are going to be just that. But if you are working in that world, then why would you come home on your social media time, on your downtime, and start to hate watch stuff? Hey, Robert, you said they shouldn't be acting surprised about them removing segregation laws. No, not for federal. I'm not surprised at all. And the thing is this, when people are ignorant, they make horrible decisions for themselves. I'm going to find a clip and play it because um, I don't think, and I know for a fact, based on some of the information that I've seen with some of the white folks, they don't have no idea. They really have no idea what is going, and it's weird and scary. But if you heard somebody today say that white people were slaves too, no, babe, no, beloved. White people had indenture servitude. Black people had chattel slavery. There, everybody wants to say, well, everybody. America has a very peculiar connection and relationship to how slavery was practiced here. They bred us down into that. That's not that's not anything that was for us. That wasn't for us. And again, you see, you got a little bit of success. 2% Black people have 2% of the wealth in this country. These people do not understand that whiteness was created. If you want to read a book, They Were Her Property. Again, white women were horrific to Black children, specifically mixed children that they husbands had made, boiling them, tarring them, killing them, to the point to where it was happening so often they had to make it okay if you killed a slave. That wasn't because of white men. I mean, I ain't finna say like all that. Nah, but if you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, I'm looking for a clip because it's not just white women. It is a bunch of just less than smart. When you there's a young man, young white guy. I think he's 22. So we gonna go two stories while I'm looking for this. So the first thing was today, listening as people called in and listening to a white woman try to say, the question was, when was America ever great? And she's like, it's always been great. And the question was then, for everybody? Yes, for everybody. If somebody has to say to you, well, what about slavery? Oh, okay, girl, we doing this? We doing this. Okay. I was so taken aback. But then the other thing that I got upset with, I was like, well, why y'all keep letting these people come over here? I have to understand I am a guest in other people's platforms. And if they want to have folks there, that have every right to have everybody on that they want. I don't have to entertain it. Yeah, the Watts. So what Robert is saying is absolutely true. Our ancestors did very well after Reconstruction. We really did okay with really I want to say probably this second the Jim Crow like this. I went out and I did the math, and if you go to one of the videos about segregation, if you look and see, I think it's probably 1974 is when you have that the Bankers Act, and that's when women could have a bank account. 1974, I think the civil rights is 1964, 65 ish. That's 70 years. It was a man today that I heard say, "I was born before Jim Crow." And this man is going to be segregated. He is technically. How you live through segregation twice? Twice, my G? What are we doing, black folks? Because that's that. Now, when I say black folks, this is when I'm going to start looking at all of us. Robert did say, and I'm going to show it, he said, I'm fine with people dating who they want to date. The problem is when you see these black men and women disparaging the other half for their own race. I don't know what it is about white ice. Robert, this is what I'm going to say for you is one, have a little bit of grace for them, but think about this. We back here again. So people that thought everything was okay, they done grew up north, they got jobs, they went to school, they ate together, played together. They do not see whiteness as a threat. They don't even know that they know less than the white people do that this was invented. It is fake. It's not real. But in their heart, they just as oppressed as black people. And that's when you got to stop and look. And that's when you know they've never really experienced true oppression. You haven't. You wouldn't dare. And I don't like to get into the who suffered more. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, think about this. That man got 34 felonies. If he was this color and not this color, he would not be in office. He's a criminal, right? So these folks are willing to lose it all, burn it all the way down, because they think you finna get a little piece of they sugary snacks. And here's the thing, we don't even want your food. We just don't want you to poison ours. We don't want to be there. Just leave us be. And I'm just say this: if they do segregate, oh, you know who's finna have the biggest fit about not having access. Somebody type in there who you think who gonna have the biggest fit. Who gonna scream the loudest? Who gonna have the most to say? They mad me. You can't. Okay, baby. Okay. Okay. People are ill-informed, poor educated, have no idea what's going on, just lost. Segregation was not that long ago. It absolutely was not. And many people are still very much a part of the Jim Crow South. Like I said, I've never seen the last slave die. I mean, that's not even true, because I think it's a man that I think he might have been in Arkansas. I think he's still living. The fact that we can't even say, like somebody said, your generation. I'm like, no. My third great grandmother, before, praise the Lord, she was an indigenous person, but we know what it is. We know what it works. We have to, don't be disillusioned. The illusion of inclusion, it'll get you every time. I'm just getting all of the clips together because and we're not going to watch all of them, but just enough for us to see these folks are ill-informed. I know some of y'all not going to like it, but hear me when I say this. Go back over there and go watch about an hour of Fox. And when you hear what these people are being told, you'll be like, well, no wonder why you don't know nothing. Because they are being lied to consistently all of the time. All of the time. And it benefits them. It benefits them. When I said I'm gonna show us two little clips, I really want us to pay attention because again, I don't have a problem. Like I said, I love politics. I love history. I like having awareness, and I know it's not everybody's strong suit. I am gonna say that I am Black centered, and I don't care. I'm not here to make you feel good. If you cannot handle being safe in a Black place, I promise you, you won't be here very long. Because what we don't do is I don't engage terrorists. No, you can't even come. Just wait. When I show you this, baby, and I drop the link, you're gonna say, wait a minute, what? Let me go ahead and put our little organ on for pause for spell. Do you mind if Celia and I come and sit with you for a spell? Let's see. Okay, go here. I'm gonna do present. Okay, present. Share screen. Share screen. So, that's our music. Oh, I had to show this because I want y'all to look at this baby. And you might not be a believer, but please stay prayed up because
You watch the news lately? Yes, Heavenly Father, we just humbly come before you. Give your name praise, honor, and glory. We thank you for this day that you have made. And we pray and speak the 91st Psalm. That there shall no evil befall them, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. He shall be the angels charge over thee to keep them in all thy ways. Yes, and we just thank you, Lord, for praise, glory, and honor. We take them delicate everywhere we go. Everywhere. Oh, I feel like I'm
that's little baby Bella. If you know the news lady, that is her husband and that's her daughter. And that little baby, she's being raised in such a beautiful way because she's getting discernment. You see, you go to in her the mother's pages, Miss News Lady, you saw that was a Black mother with her Black son, with his Black daughter in a beautiful home with a Black wife. All this we can't be together can't be, that's not true. When we are together and in community and we are on the same, we thrive. They get the most when we are like this. That divisiveness, it's a reason for it. Now I'm not saying you're gonna build with all Black men. I wouldn't dare try to ask you to do that no how, because this how you asked me to build with everybody. Let me show you how I feel about this. Let me go and pull this up. Can anybody come to the picnic? Are y'all gonna let everybody come? Can everybody come?
You children are so clean. Would you like to work for me? Be my maid? Hell no. What did you say? Hell no. What did she say?
Hey, can't you pump that crude a little faster?
Gal, what did you say to Miss Millie?
I said, hell.
No, Miss Sophia. No, Miss Sophia, no!
Get my children out of here! Take them home! Get my children home! Get my children out of here! You black slut! Who do you think you are?
And I showed that clip for two reasons. All of this stuff is to provoke us. They want to see us out in the street. These people have been protesting. Not one person. Now I will say this, and I'm gonna try to find this clip as well. Let me show y'all why I found the other one. Because this is when I saw it again, being a part of the community. Yep, that was Miss Sophia. On Friday, we had some guests come over, and when the guests came over, honey, they from Go I was on because I don't why are you here? I ain't playing with you like that. But from Go, no, I ain't playing with you like that. But what I'm gonna say is this: we had a lot of people hop up and try to defend white men who, once it was all said and done, they both were white nationalists. And this is one of the, again, when I say y'all don't, because of the proximity to whiteness, black men, I think sometimes you're not as aware as we are. Not to, and please, we're not going to have a battle of the who's, I'm not doing the oppressed thing. I'm saying when you are at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, and you need certain protection and it's not always necessarily guaranteed, you got to move different, right? So we move a little different. I just had this clip up. Let me see. Oh, this is the one I want. When I played this, the little guy that was on the call on Friday was 23. He had been taken in by a black family, raised by them, said he had a very loving father and mother. They were married. He shared that he did not start hating black people until he had to stay with his black parents because other black people were stealing from them. And somebody had to say, well, you were living in the area where people were poor. Was like, it wasn't because you were, because and they called me names. I'm like, black people call everybody names. We crack on everybody. And again, because our culture is so different, he wasn't aware. They don't teach history the right way. We know our history. But if you had to ask somebody about what really happened in Tulsa, what really happened in Rosewood, when did separate but equal stop? Who are the Lovings? We know that. You said you called out the same, some of them are white. Child, you know, I don't go on that side of town. But if they are around you in an all black space, I am very suspicious. And I'm going to tell you, like I said, I have been around whites my entire life. I went to a school where it was 6 black people in the school. I have been called a nigger since kindergarten. And I can even tell you my teacher was Mrs. Brown and the boy's name was Johnny Brown. I was too little to make the connection, but a piece of me is like, was this his auntie or somebody? Because when she was like, I don't sit next to that nigger, they did not never. She didn't fix that. Robert Boone, gathering intelligence. You don't tell people what you finna do. And the way that folks just be inviting the enemy, I'm like, what in the hell are you doing? What is this? And then folks want to play you like you stupid. Like, hell no. But again, you got called the imp. So see, when those of us that have that imprint of that happens when you're young, when you get dehumanized that young, I don't think we ever recover from that. It is a wound that a small person should never have to experience. But again, because that's not their reality, it's almost like asking somebody to identify with something that they just don't know. And we can say, like, I call BS. It's like, no, we can relate because we understand it. Look at how the Latins voted in this last election. They really think they thought they had made it. They was in there. No, love. You ain't gonna never be enough of these people. Now I want you to listen to just listen. And I'm gonna stop it because you know how they do with copyright stuff. So, but please.
Social Security should go away. That's my question to you.
Because Social Security keeps 2/3 of our elderly out of poverty. And not only does it keep our elderly out of poverty, it's essentially a social insurance program that protects you if at the end of your life you don't have enough money to survive.
For right now, do you know that it's also the albatross around our generation's neck?
No, it isn't.
In today's video, Sam Seder absolutely destroys Ben, a Trump supporter, in a heated debate about Social Security on Jubilee. Ben has some interesting takes on Social Security. Ben thinks gutting Social Security is somehow good for working class Americans, while Sam, armed with actual facts, completely dismantles the nonsense.
Refresh this.
And let's be real.
It stopped.
What if Social Security should go away? That's my question to you.
Because Social Security keeps 2/3 of our elderly out of poverty. And not only does it keep our elderly out of poverty, it's essentially a social insurance program that protects you if at the end of your life you don't have enough money to survive.
For right now, do you know that it's also the albatross around our generation's neck?
No, it isn't.
In today's video, Sam Seder absolutely destroys Ben, a Trump supporter, in a heated debate about Social Security on Jubilee. Ben has some interesting takes on Social Security. Ben thinks gutting Social Security is somehow good for working class Americans, while Sam, armed with actual facts, completely dismantles the nonsense. And let's be real, Social Security isn't some handout. It's something Americans pay into their entire working lives. But of course, the MAGA crowd loves to ignore that inconvenient fact. So let's dive in and watch how Sam Seder shuts down this Trump supporter in this heated debate.
Okay, so
let me just explain this.
Well, you're going to go back to lecturing me about Social Security.
Well, we don't that's have. What we're talking about.
Yeah, Social Security is one of the top 3 funded.
Social Security is almost the biggest thing that our government does.
Exactly, and we are more than $30 trillion in debt.
Well, first of all, Social Security cannot contribute legally to the deficit.
Because they don't even account it in the federal deficit every year.
That's correct,
we have
because
30
it's
years
self-funding. When Social Security started in 1936, you have more workers than retirees because people haven't entered into retirement. By 1970, it was at 3.5 to 1. Now it's at 2.5 to 1. But productivity has increased during that time, so the amount of money paid into Social Security has been up there. The reason why we are running out of money just for the trust fund, not for Social Security, like I say, if we do nothing with Social Security now, it is statutorily unable to contribute to the debt. The math is right there. The reason why the trust fund is running out is because wealth inequality has hoarded so much money above the cap.
You don't think it's because the government does a terrible job managing their money? They have a huge spending problem, and they go, look at all this money we have for Social Security that's earmarked for 60 years from now that we're just going to spend on something right now.
40 years ago, they predicted this. This is an actuarial table. Accountants sit there and look at it. This is a very easy math problem.
Accountants in the government are always right? That's totally the thing that you're saying? That they're always correct about money, right? That's why we have a $40 trillion debt problem.
The problem isn't the math with the $40 trillion debt problem. It's you have tax.
It's the spending problem. I totally agree with you, which I would argue is part of why Social Security's gone in the hole already.
That's simply not true.
Oh, okay. So we're out of money from the Social Security bucket.
No. Statutorily, by that I mean by law, Social Security pays for itself. If we do nothing, the 6.2% that your employer and your employee pays into it will pay out 78% of benefits starting in 2033.
And why is it going down? If everything's so much better, why is it only 78%?
If we raise the cap, there's a cap right now at $176,000. So, for instance, if you make $100,000, you pay $6,200 into that
a year.
But if you make $4 million, do you know how much money you pay into Social Security? $6,200.
First off, Ben's entire premise is absolutely flawed. He argues that Social Security is part of the government's so-called spending problem, but Social Security literally cannot contribute to the national debt. It's a self-funded program paid for by payroll taxes. This isn't some optional spending spree. It's money workers pay in throughout their careers to get back when they retire. Ben also throws out the "we're $40 trillion in debt" argument, which is completely irrelevant to Social Security. That's like saying you have student loan debt and you can't use your own savings account. One has nothing to do with the other. The government's debt problem comes from tax cuts for the rich, endless military spending, and corporate subsidies, not from ensuring seniors don't starve.
And so why should wealthy people pay a higher percentage?
No, they should pay the same percentage. 6.2 on $400,000, 6.2 on $1 million.
And why should they pay even more money at all? Because they make more money? Again, you fundamentally have this idea that because somebody, you have an idea that because somebody makes more money, that's fundamentally wrong, right?
No, I don't think it's fundamentally wrong. I think that they should pay more taxes into it. Now, I do think as a society, we should not allow billionaires. So for instance,
pay more taxes generally.
You know what the highest tax rate was and the greatest expansion of our economy in this country?
Does a billionaire...
I'm just stopping this for a second. This kid is 22. He has no... How do you at 22 say, oh, you're at best, if you started working at 16? What's that? Sir, please stop it. Stop it. They don't even understand social safety nets. When you have people that are fighting for billionaires to keep money, come on now. Billionaires. Let's be honest. So maybe he's been paying 6 years into the system, 6. And that's if he started working at 16. I think 72% of the money is placed aside. It wouldn't even become insolvent. Like listening to somebody like Elon Musk, a billionaire, talk about an entitlement and to have white people say, I think he's doing a great job. How do you... If you look at these polls, it's not time yet because enough of them ain't suffering yet. We'll be fine. We will be fine. Just don't get out there in them streets because you see what happened with Oprah. Oprah was what? That was a segregated area. She's with her black man, her black family, and she's still... Now, Oprah she jumped off. I mean, I get it. That the entitlement is a racist. It is. And he's the biggest welfare queen in America. You have Tesla getting a deal, those Cybertrucks, all 46K, which only 32 of them got sold. All of them had to get rolled back. Tesla has the most issues with electric cars. They're selling electric cars in Japan for like $6,000 to $7,000, and they're better than Tesla. You can't get that kind of car brought into America. Why? Because of the tariffs. Why? Because it benefits Elon, which benefits Trump, because he has paid for his position. That, like, did we not hear when Elon told us that empathy was for weak people, and then he now was sitting up with Fox talking about, I thought that the Democrats were the party of being kind. You said empathy was for suckers. See, it's rules for thee, not for me. I can treat whoever I want to treat poorly. I don't have to fool. I can be whatever. We have never, ever, 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 ever in life seen a president behave this way. We have been beyond a constitutional crisis. They rolled back segregation and everybody just looking at each other. If that ain't enough to make you say, peace be still. Let me sit my black ass. Let me mind my black business. Don't be out in them streets. Don't say too much. Rich people have always used poor people. And that's the thing. Now, what I do believe is happening is they're affecting the right demographic. They didn't really count on these elderly white folks wanting to go and do the town halls. Because when you go and you look and you see and they screaming and hollering at these folks. But I don't even know, like, why y'all acting like y'all shocked? You knew this is what he was going to do. He said this is what he was going to do. Well, we didn't think. Why you didn't think?
Get more money from Social Security if they went to go take it than I would.
No,
of course not. So why should they pay more?
I'll tell you what. Because it is a social insurance program that keeps you from being in poverty when you're a senior. And the reason why I think billionaires should pay more taxes than other people, even a higher percentage, is because it works better for society. The greatest expansion we've had in this country in terms of economics and the least amount of wealth disparity was in the 40s and 50s and 60s in this country. Do you know what the top marginal rate was?
It was high.
Do you know
I don't know the exact number, but
if you made over $470,000 in 1955, every dollar you would make above that was taxed at 90%.
So I have a question.
90 cents on every dollar was taxed above 470. So if we had in today's dollars,
which is wild, by the way. But
and it's also the greatest expansion we had of the economy.
Yeah, you can expand for a time, and then you see places, you see like Nordic countries that were like, oh, let's tax the hell out of our rich people, right? And then they go, whoops, we messed up. We can't actually live off of our terrible. We basically are able to live off our economic boom that they had between like the 40s and the 90s, and then we have to revert all of that because we made a terrible choice. We were able to have a party for 50 years until we realized we ran through all the money that capitalism got us. So let me ask you real quick. So the average person, right? Right now they fundamentally look at Social Security, young people like me, and they go, I'm going to have that money sitting waiting for me when I retire. Since your opinion is whatever works best for the average person is better, wouldn't you rather shift towards something that I would agree with, which is getting people that are 19, 20 years old into funding their own retirement rather than relying on other people to fund it for them?
You're talking like a 401k.
Now, Ben tries to pivot to Nordic countries, claiming that high taxes ruined them, which is just flat out false. Countries like Denmark, Sweden, and Norway have some of the highest standards of living, best healthcare, and the strongest economies in the world. In fact, they still tax the wealthy more than the US does, and their economies haven't collapsed. They've thrived. Then Ben comes in with the classic, young people should just save for their own retirement nonsense, as if 19-year-olds working minimum wage jobs are just supposed to magically invest their way to financial security. The entire reason Social Security exists is because relying solely on personal savings is a disaster waiting to happen. People live longer, wages haven't kept up with inflation, and 401ks don't work for everyone. If Social Security were privatized, Wall Street would make billions, while everyday Americans would be left gambling their futures in the stock market.
Sure, not just the 401k, but for IRAs, any other type of retirement. Would you agree with that?
Social Security was set up as part of a three-legged stool where back in the day, when I was a kid, we had defined benefit pensions, where you know how much money you would get out. Yep. That all shifted in the 80s, the defined contribution, where you know how much you put in. The 401k started during that Reagan era. It has been a disaster because the fact of the matter, for better or for worse, people just don't save in the way that you're talking about.
Why?
It would be nice if
the government were changing the mindset and actually pushing that cultural shift towards, we're not just going to hand you money when you're 65. You have to plan for it right now. We had a 40-year
experiment with that, the government affecting the cultural mindset, and it failed.
We had a 40-year experiment of everything. You know what my parents say? Do you know what grandparents say? They go, well, I'm just waiting for my Social Security check to come in, rather than I have $800,000 waiting for me because I thought about it when I was 19 and 20 because I didn't have this grab bag of money waiting for me. You're assuming that you're assuming that young.
I try and tell my kids.
So we agree. So we agree. We should get rid of Social Security, phase it out. Well, no. So we should phase out. How would you listen to this idea? You phase out Social Security to where people who have 5 years left before they retire get 100% of the benefits, and then people like me who have 40 years until we retire,
Dude,
I'm not going to get it. I'm going to get screwed either way.
No,
you really think I'm going to get Social Security?
I guarantee you, at the very least, you're going to get 78% of your benefits.
That's awesome. I'll get $9,000 a year. That's great.
In calling for our government to increase the cap, in fact, get rid of the cap, then your grandkids will get Social Security.
I would much rather, and again, maybe we'll just disagree, but I would much rather result to, hey, 20-year-olds, please save for your own retirement, invest for your own retirement, because the government is bad at dealing with money.
And what happens
don't rely on them. What happens if what?
What happens if those 20-year-olds don't listen to you?
The same thing that happens if a 20-year-old just doesn't go and get a job because I tell them to. They're going to have a problem, but that's not my fault.
No, I got news for you. It's not your fault, but there used to be in New York City 30,000 people sleeping on the Bowery.
No one in this room was alive before Social Security. We've all lived under this, just like the
and
income tax.
And it has been the most successful government program in the history of our government.
Things that are successful don't just start to die out and end up in the
dying out.
It's the grab bag of money, the massive excess that was there in the early years because of the 42-to-1 benefit.
There wasn't a massive excess in 1936.
42-to-1 is a massive excess.
There weren't that many people who had entered into the Social Security program.
And the fact that
in 1970 it was 3.5 workers to 1. Now it's 2.5, but productivity has increased it. I've told you why the Social Security Trust Fund is running out. It is because of wealth disparity. Billionaires hiding and hoarding their money above the cutoff line, which is 176,000. That's the cap. If you remove the cap, your grandkids
billionaires aren't keeping $2 billion under their mattress. They're investing it back.
No, they're just putting it into some stock market, or they're just looking around.
And what do you think a 401k or an IRA relies upon? It relies on the stock market and things like that.
Yeah, a 401k relies on the stock market. And I knew people who were retiring in 2008 when the stock market tanked, and they got screwed.
Well, that's a whole other problem. I would argue that's largely driven by the government being, once again, terrible at policy and creating bad economic hazards.
Social Security is there regardless of what happens with the stock market.
I can't believe Ben, with a straight face, said billionaires invest their money so it's not just sitting there. When billionaires park billions in offshore accounts, evade taxes, and stash money in shell corporations, that's totally the same as investing in the economy, right? The reality is billionaires aren't just reinvesting back into society like some economic superheroes. They're hiding their money, avoiding taxes, and rigging the system to keep getting richer while working class Americans foot the bill. Meanwhile, the average worker is paying into Social Security with every single paycheck, and somehow it's their fault the system is underfunded. Make it make sense. At the end of the day, Sam is absolutely right. The US should raise the tax cap so billionaires pay their fair share. Ben has no real answer, just empty talking points. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually?
So, and I showed that because here is the thing. He is 22. He just graduated. At best, if he went to college, he legitimately just finished college, has no idea how Social Security works, believes in, planning and like, come on. How many people got told, and I'm never going to say not getting a house is a good investment, but how many people did we see lose money when the housing market crashed? But they bailed them the banks out too big to fail. They bailed out what? They bailed out the car companies too big to fail. But the citizens, oh well, let them eat cake. He's 22. So you take that, and I'm going to just assume if he's 22 with this much access, that means he's had access to education, access to have the right information, and he is still the blind leading the blind. So you just can't let these people be up in the space because they're not very learned. They will not tell the truth, and they live in an illusion. They live in illusion. They don't. They just damn don't. You know? We're going to go over 2 more clips, and I'm going to let y'all go ahead on. I do want us to see this. And this is why, like I said, I want to give information. I want to talk about us having education, but I also want to show that this is the cost when people are not well informed. You have an electorate of people that are voting age that don't know how these social services are built up. Yeah, the programs that came out of that, baby. I mean, but why would you tell somebody or be like, you can go get a house and your mortgage is $400 and you let that mortgage be $400 or $500 for the first year, and the person's not even realizing they're not paying no taxes, it's not hitting the principal, and then the following year you start paying taxes and your mortgage goes up? It was less than honest. In all of these systems that would have caught, like the commerce person, he's a billionaire. He said if his 94-year-old granny don't get her Social Security check, she'll just wait for the next month. You know how many people legitimately are get your rice, get your beans, start to save? Again, we gonna be fine, because how many black bankers do you see hollering and crying and screaming? Not very many. Black farmers, you don't see that because they didn't get this bailout money. You see the people who are just now feeling what we felt, that pinch, it's just now touching them. And it's not even, I don't even think it's really hit yet. But you saw this very young man that unsmart. They don't have to know real information. They don't have to be informed. And they're not teaching it at a school. How do you have this many people this young, where you have on Friday a white nationalist, 2 of them, one of which raised by a black man, white nationalist. Now you see this young man here, no clue. So if we think in that logic and sense, no Lord.
Debt, and you owe too. The 6th one they say is, well, there's already been reparations paid to black people. Welfare and affirmative action. Number 1, welfare was created for white women in the 1930s. Number 2, most welfare recipients in America are white people in middle America. The welfare capital is Owsley County, Kentucky, where 99% of the people are white and on welfare. That's the welfare capital. And as far as affirmative action, we know that affirmative action benefits white women more than anybody. So is affirmative action reparations? Exactly. And the last thing they say, family, they say, well, listen, Why should I, as a good white person, be on the hook for something that I didn't do? Why should my tax dollars pay for something that I didn't do? I didn't own a slave. Did any of you remove red Native Americans from their land? Your tax dollars go to pay for them now. Did any of you put people in concentration camps in Germany? Your tax dollars go to pay off some of the victims of the Holocaust. Did any of you put Japanese Americans in internment camps in World War II? But your tax dollars go to pay the Japanese families. Did anybody here fly a plane in the World Trade Center? You know some of your tax dollars go to those victims too. Did you create a war in Afghanistan? Billions of your tax dollars go to the Afghanistani people. Did you cause a war in the Ukraine? Billions of your tax dollars go to the Ukrainian citizens. So since we're giving all of our tax dollars to these people who are not even citizens for the most part, we're going to make sure the real compensation and the real check is going to be cut for the people who deserved it, who built this country from the ground up, who cultivated the culture in this country. Foundation of Black Americans, ladies and gentlemen. Say reparations. FBA. Give me.
I'm not the biggest fan of those.
This is not normal. We're not having a normal session. Mr. Speaker, the House is on fire. The House is on fire. There is nothing legal or constitutional that is going on. We have unelected billionaires running the country. And this is not a political grab for power. It's a crime. I marched into our Speaker of the House's office to try to meet with the Treasury Secretary to ask them why they were committing crimes, why there was unchecked authority over the Treasury data, to stop doing it, why they needed to do this, why they needed to surveil, penalize, or control this financial access. And the Speaker told me he had no idea what they were doing. The Speaker of the House does not know what they are doing. We need to stop acting like things are normal. It is not normal.
We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. I want to talk about it, but I'll be late for work. And if you're saying, wait a minute, who we have to stop this? We have one, but you didn't want the lady in office. Now that we're a part of... We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. I want to talk about it, but I'll be late for work. And if you're saying, wait a minute, do we have to stop this? We had one, but you didn't want the lady in office. Hostile government takeover.
Now when I was a young man, I carried a pack, lived the free life of a rover, from the Murray's Green Basin.
Everybody making a song, but that hostile government, you can tell that's my bop, right? I thrive in that. I listen to it every day. Let me see. I'm coming back in to see y'all's comments. The bailouts went straight. So these dudes sound so dumb, not him gassing up. Yes, they really fundamentally, they don't know. But here's what else. I'm going to show us this because I won't fault people. Let me tell you what I didn't know. And this is one of those things where we are like, oh, are you fleeing communism? Do you need some assistance? Okay, you can come. Let me play this clip for y'all because I was like, wait, what? I did not know this. And I blame myself. So again, we don't know all things. This is one of the reasons why we got to have our meetings. We got to talk. We've got to look at clips. If you notice, it's been a little bit of everything. Don't put yourself in a silo. Now, I'm not saying be around folks and hate watch and do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't just get your news from one place. Please go and watch Fox for an hour. Get on here and watch the Young Turks. Don't like them, but you want to be able to have a diverse amount of information come in, because this right here, what I didn't understand why these people was mad. Let me just let this play.
How can it be that a year later you are spending summers fleeing persecution? How can it be that a year later you are spending summers in Cuba?
Senator Marco Rubio, who is Cuban American, causing an uproar here in South Florida. Rubio was questioning the Secretary of Homeland Security about Cuban asylum policies.
CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor joins us from Miami International Airport to explain.
Some Cubans do agree with Senator Marco Rubio. Now, the key is the word refugee. An immigration attorney tells us that there is a big difference when it comes to Cubans.
You come from Cuba, you are presumed to be fleeing political persecution. So you automatically are eligible for refugee cash. You're eligible for food stamps.
Senator Marco Rubio has ignited a debate.
Within a year, depending if you're paroled, you can apply for a green card. And then you can travel back to Cuba as often as you want. Some people go back to Cuba for 3 months at a time. They've been here a year.
I agree to an extent with him, said Alexis Acosta, who arrived Monday night from Havana. He has lived in the U.S. for 26 years. He went to visit his octogenarian parents in Cuba.
Cubans are not refugees.
Willie Allen is a Cuban-American immigration attorney in South Florida. He told us some migrants, including Cubans, get aid in the state of Florida because of an act approved in the 1980s.
Every Cuban and every Haitian that has been paroled into the United States could receive in Florida food stamps, welfare, and some cash assistance.
Allen said the issue brings into focus the Cuban Adjustment Act, which provides an expedited route for Cuban citizens to request permanent residence in the U.S. after 1 year and 1 month, as addressed by Senator Rubio.
If you came as a Cuban, asked for asylum, withdrew the asylum, and became a resident through the Cuban Adjustment Act, you have no restrictions to travel back to Cuba.
Now, in order to be covered by the Cuban Adjustment Act, the person has to enter the U.S. legally. Those who do it through rafts or the southern border do not qualify for the benefit. I do think if they are fleeing repression from Cuba, they should not go back at all, said Yusdrivia Rodriguez, waiting for a one coming from Havana at Miami's International Airport. Now, we did reach out to the office of Senator Marco Rubio. We still have not heard back from him. At Miami International Airport, I'm Ivan Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
Of course, you espouse terrorist views and you apply for a visa, that's denied. You're inadmissible, right?
I believe that's the correct language.
So what if you already have a visa, and then while in the U.S. with that visa, you espouse or support terrorist activity? Shouldn't that be an automatic cancellation of that visa?
Senator, I would have to check the law, but I would understand that it might be a basis for the revocation of the visa and the removal of the individual. I want to check the law in that area.
Well, I think it makes sense that if you can't get a visa because you espouse terrorist views or endorse terrorist views, if you have a visa and then you do that while a visitor, we're talking about visitors to the United States, that visa should be canceled.
I would agree.
Okay, good, because I'm asking the administration to enforce that, and I hope you will. I think that's important. Let me get, there's a lot of talk about immigration. I deal with immigration every day because, as you know, where I live in Miami, virtually everyone's from somewhere else, whether it's another state or primarily another country in South Florida. So everywhere I go, I'm just going to read what people tell me. This is what they tell me. Talked to a lady 3 days ago. She says her son, I forgot the exact, he may be in Honduras. She's going to Venmo him $5,000, $6,000 or Cash App. He's going to pay someone to bring him to the U.S. border, where he will present himself to border officials. He will be admitted into the country at some point, released. He knows this because other people have done it. Depending on how he's released, within 180 days, I believe, you'll have a work permit. And at some point in the future, you'll have to show up for a hearing, maybe not get an immediate trial date, but he's basically within the next 8 weeks, he's going to be living in the United States. This is the pattern that they have established and that they understand. And once he's successful at doing that, he'll obviously tell people back home how he did it, and they'll do the same thing. Is that not, in essence, what is happening?
I would perhaps, Senator, qualify a few of the facts, but that is indeed a pattern that we see, which speaks to how broken our immigration system is, but how important are the policies that we have promulgated to prevent that scenario from occurring. And let me give you an example of the policy that we have promulgated to ensure that that scenario does not occur. What we have done is we have promulgated a regulation that provides, it's called the Circumvention of Lawful Pathways. Our model is to build safe, orderly, and lawful pathways to come to the United States and seek relief under our laws. and to deliver a consequence for those individuals who do not avail themselves of those lawful pathways, but instead follow the pattern that you have described.
But as of right now, the pattern I've described is the prevalent one.
That is one pattern, but the policy that we have promulgated, the model that we have architected, is in fact a significant defense against that in the context of a broken immigration system, and our policy is working, although it is under challenge in the courts. Our circumvention of lawful pathways regulation is being challenged in one court, and our lawful pathways are being challenged. And so we get hit from both sides, but the model is an optimal model that we are continuing to pursue during.
I understand. I don't mean to cut you off. I got your point. I only have a minute left. I want to get to one more question. My point on that, though, is the perception is as important as the reality. The perception right now still is. But this lady told me this on Monday, so this is, I'm not, I guess I can tell you that's at least one person more that's coming. I want to talk, and Secretary Becerra, maybe this will involve you a little bit too, about a specific category, this refugee resettlement, Cubans, Haitians. But let me just focus on the Cuban one because I know that one well. So if you come from Cuba, you are presumed to be fleeing political persecution. So you automatically are eligible for refugee cash. You're eligible for food stamps. You're eligible for Medicare, Medicaid. Others who immigrate to this country have to wait 5 years for those and don't get the refugee cash. But within a year, depending if you're paroled, you can apply for a green card. And then you can travel back to Cuba as often as you want. Multiple times. You can take cash. You can buy stuff with the food stamps. I've seen it. Okay, this is not, I didn't read this in a magazine. I've seen it. They use the food stamps, they fill up these bags, and they take it back to Cuba over there. Or they just transfer cash back. Some people go back to Cuba for 3 months at a time. They've been here a year. How, if you are fleeing persecution, how can it be that a year later you are spending summers in Cuba? How can it be that less than a year later you're traveling back 6, 8 times a year to Cuba? I've never heard of people fleeing persecution going back to a place repeatedly. There's an issue here, is there not?
Senator, you respectfully allow me to say that you've misdescribed the Cuban Adjustment Act and what happens when an individual from Cuba arrives in the United States, because we do indeed remove individuals to Cuba. So,
assuming Cuba will accept them and they're ineligible for some reason. Right?
That is correct.
But the overwhelming majority do not get removed.
That is,
which is fine. I'm just saying, once you, I'm not talking to people that are here. Once you are here, you're assumed here because you're a refugee fleeing persecution, and you have a host of benefits at a minimum. If a year later you're here on a refugee, but you're going back to Cuba 6 times, shouldn't you at least lose the refugee status?
Senator, let me follow up with your concern. The question being, if I understand it correctly, is if indeed an individual flees the country of origin by reason of fear of persecution, they obtain refugee status because
Cuban in this case.
Because that fear has been affirmed and they are now a refugee. Does their desire and actually travel to the country of origin militate against the legitimacy of their claim?
Thank you. Senator Baldwin.
I will follow up on that, Senator.
So
anytime Lauren Boebert talks, she knows it's gonna be some stupid stuff come out. But she got straight jet by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
I did not know that you could come here and get those benefits. I was gooped. I was like, wait, oh, okay. So even in that, we've got to get a lot better at understanding what people are pushing back at. What is the real issue? Are we really informed? Are we doing this hate watch thing? Are we building with people that are never going to build back with us? Are we being in an alliance with well, it's not immigrants, only Cubans. But here's the other thing. And when we talk about the lack of awareness, the little young guy that wanted to talk about Social Security and not understanding that a lot of migrants pay into a system that they cannot tap out. So it's just, again, when you want people to hurt at one more than you, I think for Black people, that lack in scarcity is so odd. And it's very odd for us to always talk about abundance and having and just believing because we make it work. And then to see people at the top fight to act as if they're a part of the bottom. It's nuts to me. But that ain't my life. So let me check the time because we done been on here. We had us a good little time. I'm gonna show y'all one more. Watch the Social Security. Okay. I will watch him. I've been watching quite a few of different lawyers, different political 609. Okay. I definitely will check it out. I was blown. I didn't know it. And here's the thing. I'm in Texas, so we don't have no Cubans. Everybody here is Mexican. Right? So it's like, I was an adult when I met my first person that was Jamaican. Like, that's how insulated the South can be. And people come here, and a lot of folks, if you from up north, they're like, nah, I can't be here. Y'all too behind times. And I get it, because it's a little different around these parts. But I don't think a lot of people are aware of what all is going on. And just like I had no idea about Social Security, you can't just say that all white people, because it may be a pure lack of ignorance. I don't have any issues with anybody that's over here and you want a better life. I just did not know that you could apply for benefits. I was gooped when I saw it. I was like, oh wow. I was taken aback. So again, we all can be misinformed. We all have to do a better job of buying black, building black, bequeathing black, bartering black. We have to be in partnership. Again, I hear people, and I want us to stop with this talking point of black people have horrible customer service. It's some place that you're going right now that you know when you go in there, then people gonna make you wait. They're not gonna be kind, but because you like the food or you like the label, you're gonna go pay your hard-earned money to be mistreated. But then when you get around a black person, you want them to make no mistakes, it's a business. You got used to other people treating you wrong. At least give people an opportunity to either grow or give them feedback. Now, first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Ain't gonna be no third. However, we need to give each other that same grace and space. When we are talking about this relationship foolishness, we need to understand that it is a plot to keep us like this. And we also can acknowledge that there's some healing that needs to happen. I will be very honest and say, black men need to hold other black men accountable, but black women need to hold other black women accountable. And one of the things that I have had to just be honest about is some of the things that I would have never thought. Who leaves their children for 3-4 years? Or people going to get body work done and leaving kids in hotel rooms. It's another lady that the child was just, was it 2 of them? And it'd been like weeks. And here's the thing, if the mom is the primary person raising them and they don't have any connection with the father, because we're okay with the father walking away, those kids get lost in the system. I feel like the mother was an awful person, right? The dad, why you didn't know what was going on. The family. We cannot live life in silos. You need to check on your people, see about your people. And when I say your people, we have always been really good at building community. We are not a monolith. We don't all have to say, I like tea and we don't have to like the same things. We just do not need to harm each other, right? But we also have got to hold each other accountable for some of this piss poor behavior that has been demonstrated. It's a timeout. Black men need to pull some black men to the side and be like, bro, you know you don't take care of them damn kids. Like, nah, you gonna take care of your kids? I can help you out, bro. If not, now, Robert, thank you. You're there in my head. So you said, and I'm gonna put this here because this is it. Either way, black men and black women need to stop having kids with people that they are not married to. I know I've heard this new thing where they're like, I don't want to sanction marriage. I'm going to say this. If you're going to have a child by somebody and y'all are going to build wealth together, you need to go down by the state, because if one of y'all pass, you want to be able to get that person's Social Security so that income will match up. Your children will have less of an issue if the parent passes and they're able to get those benefits if they're a minor. So there is a benefit for having a relationship or a marriage that is recognized by the state. There is a benefit. Please stop letting people talk to you about these spiritual marriages. There's some people that'll talk about, I guess you can get kind of like a, what do you call it, before you get married? Oh gosh. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you got to sign it before. I'm thinking Priva. I know I'm saying it wrong, y'all. I'm having a brain fart. We've been doing real good. We've been on task. I have my little notes. But see, when you veer away, baby, please don't put that person's name in here. Delete that, because I don't want to delete your thing, but I don't. A prenuptial. Thank you. Thank you. LB, it's another word for one too, where if you go, it's essentially like a trust. Like we go and have everything like a living will, but you can have everything laid out legally if you just don't want to have a state sanctioned marriage. I don't know what that's about. I really don't. I find it to be odd. I don't know justification. People are grown. I'm going to say this. I take 100%. I will be wholeheartedly honest. I was a teen mom. My mother and I, and primarily my mom, raised my son. But I have one. I'm not judging, because I wanted to say, like, I'm not judging or shaming you. But if you have one, you know what it takes to have one child. When we start getting to 2, 3 kids and no marriage, at some point, why do you not care about yourself or those children enough to invest in those children? Kids need love, support, finances. They are little small people that we build into. We find out what they need. We can't make them little us. Stop dressing you and your daughter in the same outfit. Y'all want to wear the same color? Let this little girl have a little girl outfit on, and you have a grown, I have a child outfit on. I ain't saying you can't put your little stuff on, but it's some stuff in the daytime and it's some stuff that's there in the nighttime. It's some stuff that's kid friendly for you, your child, and your partner. It's other stuff where it's you and your partner. But I am begging you, please stop having children that you have no plans for, because the social systems that for a long time I think people could fall back on, that may not be there. And there's no reason in the world why an innocent child should suffer because you don't want to use a condom, or you don't want to take birth control, or you don't want to abstain. Black women, if your car got broke into today, could he help you get another one? If you got stuck on the side of the road, does he have AAA? Because ain't no blowing out back like that. It's not worth it. You're not gonna tell me that even at best, we went all night. So you had all night for 18 years? All night for 18 years. Okay. Shit don't seem, it seems dumb it seemed dumb to me, but I'm old. So I in my mind, I'm just like, hey, maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe it's because I'm old. But what y'all doing out there? Like, what is going on? Stop sleeping with people you don't know. Women, hear me when I say this, and you can say women cannot have casual sex. You cannot have casual sex. There's nothing casual about sex if you can create a whole person, because you are the person that will hold this child. You are the person that's going to have to carry that child. And if you fundamentally believe that Black men don't show up, then you are the primary person responsible for that child. So you don't get to talk about how horrible this person is when you are laying with somebody that would not spit on you if you were on fire. Lock that shit down. Get some, hey, next level, hey boo. Please practice responsible sexual activity. I get it. You young, it feels good. Trust, I get it. And when you get old, it still feels good. You need to just really look at this person. Do I really want to have to be around you for the rest of my life? Because it doesn't stop at 18. I have a child. He's grown. My baby he out there. Like we deep into the 20s. He still He don't need anything from me financially, but if he calls and needs to talk, and I still need things from my mom. Robert said, please tell these ladies to stop having children with criminals. This is why I said, and if you've heard me on panels here lately, I'm not even speaking to Black men, not because I do not believe that y'all are unworthy or you can't be. No, Black women at this point, if all is going to be placed on your back, then you have the responsibility to not bring children in this world that are not going to be parented well. Now, you married and things don't work out, that's completely different. But it is too much out here. There are too many different options. Do not have sex with people that if you got pregnant, he could not pay for diapers. He could not go and get milk. Do not be sleeping with women that you can't take your shoes off at her house. Because men, y'all be with some scuttlebugs too. So I can be all up and down Black women's necks. But I'm gonna need for Black men to also understand that there are some people that you absolutely should never have children with. And if she got 1, 2, 3 of them things and she's not married to nobody, don't do it. If you're not ready to be a stepfather, she's not an option for you. Ladies, you might got 2, 3, 4 of them things. You know what you're gonna have to do? Not date until they're adults. Because at this point, your primary responsibility is to take care of you and take care of those children. Because if you are with somebody and they're not going to step up, then you got to get everything that you need, and you need to be a good steward so the community can come and help you. I see all kind of programs where I'm here. I see several people that are willing to help, but it's not going to come no more with no strings attached. When I'm helping your son, I'm going to need for you to be at a book club. You need to be at a library. You need to be somewhere educating yourself. Or if you're not finna go educate, you need to be keeping everybody else's kids. Your house need to be tippity top. You need to be purposeful in the things that you are doing. There are too many people just mulling it through life. Please act like your life means something. Plan that thing out. Plan your money out. Plan your education. Plan and work your relationships. Work and get to know the person. Because if you would wait before you were intimate with a person, you might take 2 days and realize this girl is a dummy. Or 2 days and you realize, oh, he's an idiot. You got to know who you land with. It's not just sex. You are having these intimate connections, exchanging fluids, exchanging energies, and you might be doing all the work in the world and your shit just can't get right because you sleeping with a goddamn demon. Black people, we cannot continue to do this. It's state of emergency. We're not doing that anymore. The babies that come, the community gonna be ready to support because we gonna know like, oh yeah, they playing that baby. And oh, well, we knew we was gonna do this. And this is the grandparents and here go the godparents. And we gonna be play cousins because again, we get to make our family. How many of us have play cousins, godmamas, and they became your godmama and you was 25, but they're your mama's best friend and they will treat you just like their own. We can build within the community with like-minded people. And here's the other thing. If you have a friend that is a bandit, he can't be your friend. Y'all can't kick it. He can't come smoke. You can't go play no game. Y'all can't go. If she got children and you know that she gonna save up for the girls' trip, but the kids look a mess, no. Robert, the IQ thing, you're right. I'm just gonna say this, like maybe there could be like this thing of when you first start dating, y'all agree to read a book together. And if the person read the 4 agreements, I think it might be 50 to 60 pages. If y'all can't get through a book and have a conversation, writings on the wall. Like, do you want to do finances with this person? Do you really want to be in close proximity and then start adding the dynamics of relationships and needing to work and build and develop? And you can't make that happen. I think the book is really cool. You know what I mean? Like y'all can pick the book out, let it be something. And I'm even cat in the hat. But I'm gonna go get my book, and I'm gonna see if you get my book and your book, and then when we talk, do we talk about the book? We just have to have a better entry to barrier. It's gotta be something. Like we've got to find a way for the casualness. There's nothing casual about intimacy. The fact that we call it sex and not what it is. Into me, you see. Intimacy. Into you, I see. Intimacy. It is an intimate connection. You are inserting your whole body into somebody else, and you are allowing somebody to insert their whole body somewhere into one of your orifices. That's not casual. Us being casual has us where we are. We so busy having the battle of the sexes, segregation came back, and I can still see people talking about relationships. If you want partnership that bad, go and get some books. Yeah, the SAT is very biased. So I have a very strong aversion to any type of government influence testing, because there are people out there that they are just poor testers, very smart people. They have test anxiety, or they just never got taught how to do it. And now, because those standardized tests have now become what we teach to, our kids have no comprehension. They cannot read. They know how to take a test. They'll tell you, oh, well, you need to bubble C if you don't know, because C statistically will, like, the fact that they're teaching children to manipulate a standardized test says a lot. The other thing is this: I am not a fan of what they're doing to the Department of Education. I think it is absolutely vile. With that being said, if we can get on here and argue with each other, we can use this as a tool again for education. When I said the same thing with the book, do that with your online, your peer social relationships. Hey, y'all, let's read this book together. Okay, let's pick a day where we're going to at least go over one part of Project 2025. And I know you feel like, oh, the election is over with. I am having it printed out. It literally is 943 pages. It's 7 sections, and they are slow walking it. The reason that I'm having it print out is, here's the thing. Again, if we plan well, if we understand how they did it, then it's very easy to reverse engineer things. It's dry, and you know what? I'm going to present it here just because, again, like you're saying, it's dry reading, but I think it's necessary. I will find a way to make it entertaining. At this point, I might put on makeup and look like a clown, because we should feel like clowns. Like, I have it on the computer, and also have an Audible as well. And that's the thing. And even you saying that you have it, we have to be aware of what is going on. We need to understand what is happening with immigration. We need to understand what executive orders are being passed. And everybody can't do everything. So it might be, hey, Robert, you seem to have a very good grasp on, you know what, politics and day to day. Can you do boom this? So Robert, you do men, I do women. And even if it's you saying, oh yeah, Kamala, this is what I'm gonna say about Kamala. Not a fan, but I did not understand. We didn't see her as Black, but they did. And because she got assigned Blackness and we didn't assign Blackness to her, that's where you saw this kind of very weird exchange. However, I'm never going to say that she was on the same page as 47, 45. Absolutely not. They were not the same. You're not going to tell me you thought that. I can see it's people dropping. Baby, if you one of them, you don't belong here. Ever, 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 ever. Because they were not the same. I have to look and say that lady had 90 days to run a campaign, and she still, they like to say that she was defeated. She ran for 90 days. He ran for 4 years. And he was a previous president. Like, she should have got stomped out, and she didn't. And it wasn't because of Black people. So though we were not who, it wasn't that. We knew one is far worse than the other. So again, Black people have a discerning spirit. We get it. We have to tap into it. We cannot duck our heads and somebody else got it. Again, everybody can't do everything. But if I say, okay, I'm going to take on government, you take on finances, you take on relationships, each person needs to become a subject matter specialist. And then when we have rules of engagement and when things don't work, oh, you pregnant. Girl, y'all read y'all book? What book y'all read? What you mean you didn't read the book? What you mean you didn't? You're going to have to explain. If you need help, because the community is going to have to come, you should have done everything to prevent the other parent from not being in a healthy co-parenting environment. And just because you're in a relationship, enjoy each other for a spell. Have some fun. Traveling. I'm not saying like, I ain't saying be a passport. America is big and wide and vast. We got beaches, we got deserts. You want to go to the cold mountains, all of it. And spirit fly some everywhere. Don't let nobody say they too good. If this is you experiencing and seeing different things in different cultures, because the more things that you are introduced to, the more your brain is going to open up, the more your ideas and conceptions and what you can create, it just grows. I want for us to come out of this and get to this point. So while this man is doing all these things, we are growing. We are on assignment. All of my friends that are fathers, it is one of those things. I know that we want to be in community and we have friends. I have had to just say, like, girl, we don't move the same. And it's not anything like, I'm not judging that person. I just don't, if I'm being purposeful, I'm not going to let you being reckless get me in a jam, right? Because if you reckless with yourself, you don't care about what's going to happen to me. You don't make good decisions for yourself. This is the only time Black men should be forced to fight for their kids. Yeah. Yeah, the weaponization of children. Children are not pawns. If you have a man that is willing to be a father, you got to do everything that y'all can do, or a mom that's willing to be a mom. Here's what I'm going to say. And family, y'all ain't going to like this. If the father is absent, where are the aunties and the grandmas? Because at this point, we need to get real personal about our seed, because that's still your people. That's still your blood. And you still have an onus to do and see about them kids. If that man don't never step up, you don't make anybody else suffer because he's not. I ain't saying be the mama, but you know what it takes to raise a child. You can say, hey, you know what? You know, all year long in August, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be time to have some school clothes. Yes. You know, Christmas come the same time. Birthdays come the same time. As a family, get together and just say, you know what? How many children do we have in our family? We got 15 under the age of 18. Everybody in the family, if you can afford to put over 50, but this is our pot for our youth, and this is what we're going to do to ensure that they can get to their activities, they have what they need, everybody's okay. We have to be intentional in how we are moving. And we have far too much technology, far too many tools for us to continue to behave with each other in intimate relationships. We need to get to know each other. We need to spend some time together. We need to read some books together. We need to have some laughs together. If all we do is get together and yell and holler at each other, you have a toxic connection. That is an energy exchange that's from your root chakra, and you need to kind of work on feeling safe. And like I said, we are starting the yoga channel, and we're going to be doing things like this. the feelings list. We've got the alphabet of feelings, and I'm just showing real quick because I will spend time. Anxiety copings, actual feelings of how I'm feeling today. This is something that you should be having for your kids, so you give them the words and the language so they understand what it is. Today I'll go over this, and then we're almost at what, an hour, so 2 hours we'll close at that. So what can I control? The things outside are outside of my control: other people's opinions, other people's ideas, other people's behavior, their feelings, their words, other people's actions, their play, and their thoughts. Things that I can control in my world: my thoughts, my action, my feelings, my words, my play, my behavior, and my ideas. And that's the other thing. I would be very honest and say, baby, I'll be on the internet, y'all be done piss me off, and I'm ready to cuss everybody out. And it's just like, ooh, let me ensure that I am showing up in a way that it is honoring self, honoring other Black people, honoring my family, honoring the community. Because again, we need to start thinking about that. First, how's it affecting me? How's it affecting the people in my home? How is that affecting the people in my family? How does that affect my communal and then the greater half? We're not silos. We don't do life in silos. You just don't. You are going to be in community. So pick the community that you want to be in. And if you got to do some work to be there, good. Because people that's on that ain't going to be on that. Next week, whatever I teach on the yoga channel, I'll always give like a brief overview here. The feelings wheel, we're going to get real familiar with this because this is what it says. A feeling wheel is a tool to help you identify emotions that you experience. Once you better understand your emotions, you can learn good ways to respond to them. And what I believe is going on is we are all really high on emotions. We're tired, we're mad, we're hurt, we're disappointed. I am trying to develop a grieving program, and it's not just going to be for death. Some of us need to grieve ideas. We need to grieve what the life we thought we were going to have. We need to grieve the childhood that we thought we should have. We need to grieve the false identity. Let all that shit die so that while these people are being foolish, we can be about the business of healing ourselves financially, emotionally, spiritually, so that when it is time for us to, if we need to separate, we good. Excuse me. If we stay in community together, we good. This feelings wheel, we'll utilize this, the back of it, another things I can control. We're going to start going through some different things. I will go on tonight. I'm going to do a Mindful Monday meditation. I'll drop the link, but do stuff like this. Black men, they have these. I am at big age. Get you a small book of affirmations. Put the book in the bathroom. When you go make your business, you put you an affirmation book, you put you a philosophy book, and then whatever spiritual system, have you 3 of those, or have you some books on Audible. YouTube has a ton of free books. If you can't read, get you a paper, hard one, and then get the Audible and get familiar and learn how to read information. So we don't look like the young man that's 22 talking about Social Security, don't have no damn idea. So you don't look like Tiff that did not know the Cubans were getting, or I guess other folks, immigrants are getting Social Security. I did not believe that was a thing. I had absolutely no idea. With that being said, it's Monday. We are going to close out. And this is always going to be probably our introduction and our outroduction. Today, I will go through the English portion. It's a may all people have peace. And these will be the yoga. When I do physical asana, I'll come on, but when I do the meditations, it's just going to be the like a, what do you call it? A picture. I think it's easier that way and less distracting. And then the other thing is, as we start introducing, oh, you're fit. I'm glad. Well, here's the thing. Yeah. Well, if you are finishing your degree, if there's something that you read within your studies that you really feel like benefited you, then we need to be reading that, because that way that education not only helps you, it helps other people. You say, hey, this is the book that I read. I feel like everybody can get into it. When I'm done graduation, I'm giving y'all this much time. If you have questions, here's our group. Again, we can use Discord for silliness. Get a Discord to learn. And I guarantee you, if you're trying to be positive, the people that ain't living that, you know what they're going to do? Go away. They will dip. And the other thing is this, let them. And there's some folks that if you done gave them all the rules and then they don't follow the rules, don't deny them their suffering. Some people need personal suffering to grow. And if you are always the catch, they will never be able to get to the bottom. Sometimes rock bottom is necessary. It's sad to see, and you never would think it should take all of that, but some people need it. Okay, here it is. And I'm going to pull this up really quick just because it's going to bother me as far as in Sanskrit. Okay. Loka samasta suvanu bhaktantu. So what I just said, one, that's in Sanskrit. Two, it's called a mantra. So a mantra is something that you can say over and over and over. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. This particular mantra is considered to be the mantra of mantras because it is so popular that if you are in the midst of having a moment, there's always somebody else on this planet saying that exact thing, and it makes you be able to, oh wow. So Robert said my rock bottom was homelessness. It was the best thing that ever happened. So Robert, I'm gonna say something. It's gonna be some people, and if you my family, just keep it pushing, because I ain't gonna. You can get a block too. I was a teen mom, and my parents, but they did not stay together the entire time. But they both tried to do and ensure that I had as much as I could. So I didn't even think, and like I was thinking about it the other day, I was in band and all district choir and had swimming lessons, and a lot of time and investment was placed into my life. And when I got pregnant, I did have to apologize to our church, to our family. My mom did not make me apologize. She was very supportive. We were just very young, and I got pregnant my senior year. I was supposed to go to Prairie View and be in the band. So my father was just like, you want to be an adult? You want to be a grown woman? You grown now. He would call my mom, make sure everything was okay. He didn't speak to me. I had my son. He came to the hospital, counted hands, counted toes, gave some diaper money. I firmly believe the pain of that made me never, and I wanted more children, but it was no way I would have another child outside of a marriage. It was not happening. My family had done far too much for me to add additional things to them, and that's how you have to think. If your family has helped you, what do you look like putting more on them? And if you don't have a family that can help you, what do you look like trying to raise a whole human by yourself? You need community. You need tribe. And we need to come out of this single mother thing. We have got to rally around the children that are here. We hear when we hear, right? So this is our starting point. This is our rock bottom. Segregation came back. Our rock bottom. With that being said, please get really familiar with this. So I'm going to say it again in Sanskrit, and then I'm going to say it in English. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. And it says, may all people in the world be happy. That's the quick breakdown. But it's, may you be healthy and safe. May you feel loved. May you be happy. And may you be at peace. Once you do that for yourself, you close your eyes and you think about somebody that you love that's not around, and see that person. You put one hand on your heart and you close your eyes and you say, may you be safe and healthy. May you feel loved. May you be happy. May you be at peace. And then think of one other thing that you love: people, animals, trees. Just close your eyes, see that thing that you love, and then you think to yourself, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you feel loved, may you be at peace. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Loka samanu bhavantu. Om shanti shanti shanti. Build back, buy black, bank back, blah, blah, blah. The braces. That's how you know. See, my braces is telling on me. Hold on. So let me get to here. Let me get. Here we go. So one, I do want to thank you for coming to Topocracy New Life Tabernacle, foundational Black American divested descendant of West Heritage Ensemble and Restoration. We are in healing season. We are Black centered. We are Black women focused. I want to thank my Black women, my queens, my teens, my girls, and all those in between. Build Black, buy Black, bank Black, barter Black, bequeath Black, and mind your Black business. With that being said, and I have to listen to this because, and then we out. We're doing. It's like I'm learning how to navigate things, and we're gonna get much better at this. And again, I'm okay with it just being a very small, intimate building with other like-minded people, building with people that are safe, that are focused, that are driven, that have a purpose, and that we can help and be supportive for each other. We can see the best. I'm looking so forward to when we're able to get a graduation picture and a present for Robert. I'm gonna share this because this baby, she tickles me.
Go. Really, Stevie, I'm old. Mama, how long is it gonna take you to do these 2 ponytails? I got places to be and times to go. Really, Stevie, I'm almost finished. If you want to do your own hair, that's all you have to say. You saying really, but I'm dead serious. Okay, Stevie, do your own hair. And don't forget. What? Finish this hair. Really? And do not forget to put my drops in there because y'all act like y'all want people to be bald head. As a matter of fact, I'm finna put it in there myself. Well, put it in, my girl. Let me rub it in for you. Yes, rub it in. There you go. Yes. Now you can put your own play. Since you say I don't know how to. I ain't say all that. Okay. Do this plait. Give me the rubber band. You started it, you gonna end it. And I ain't playing today. Yes, ma'am. Go. Let's finish this. Hurry up. Oh. Finally, she's done. But if y'all want y'all edges back, or if y'all want y'all bald spot to grow.
Now, see, I ain't gonna do all the but you see how that little baby is about grown? That's because she's being raised. Somebody's raising her because kids are supposed to be raised. They ain't out here raising themselves. Those of us that had less than savory people raising them, please. Yeah, she Creole for sure. She Creole. That's Stevie. Baby, Stevie said, When she get on over here. But yeah, she Creole. And we're New Orleans and East Texas, so Stevie is that's like a baby cousin. My sister looks like Stevie. So now again, he cuss a lot. He do a lot of cussing, but just hear me out. Hear this dude out. And then for real, we gonna close on out. Hold on. Hold your mood. Okay. Let's see. Y'all, he cuss a lot, but just hang on in there, okay? All right. Should have gotten this on.
Ass back in the motherfucking house and put that cake back in the motherfucking closet. We're not doing it. You're not going to be on the front lines of any motherfucking movement, bitch. The only front line you're going to be on is the motherfucking cha-cha line and the motherfucking cruise ship, bitch, because we're not going to be at it. You heard what the fuck I said? Don't you fucking do it. Okay? Let they ass sit in it so they can learn from it. I know you're thinking about being Captain motherfucking Saberho, but no motherfucking moho. No motherfucking mo. It is not our lesson to motherfucking learn. If they do not go through it, they will never learn from it. The problem is white people have been bailed out all their motherfucking life and never been held accountable for shit. They've been bailed out by their parents, bailed out by the motherfucking judge, bailed out by the motherfucking system. They have never been held accountable, which is why we are dealing with the shit that we're dealing with right now with this past election. Every motherfucking damn opportunity we gave them to build a community and join us to save democracy, they spat in our fucking face and told us we don't know what the fuck we're talking about because they think they know every fucking thing. Don't you take your black ass out there, because if you go out there on the front lines and someone throws a brick, your black ass will be shot in the fucking streets and you will die and you will be a martyr. And guess what? No lesson will be motherfucking learned because, again, black people have been called to the front of the fucking line to be the sacrificial fucking lamb for motherfuckers who will never learn a motherfucking lesson, who will never fucking do the same thing for us. You hear what I'm saying? So you sit your black ass in that motherfucking house. You sit your ass still until you know it's time to get the fuck up. Don't worry about it. It's instinctual. We will know when's the motherfucking time to act. But right now, rest.
Trump, you tried to punk these countries and your ass got punked. When you saw that Dow Jones and that NASDAQ drop, bitch, like a baby bottle, oh, you quit. He turned around. Oh, well, let's go ahead and make some arrangements and let's try to change.
It's been so nice spending time with y'all friends. He's very colorful. I will say this, please go and follow. He's Too Raw, Too Real. He does great political commentary. Tabitha does politics. She does fantastic. Reese Waters, he does politics, and he also has a meditation channel. If you know Black political folks, if there's a Black hero, shero you want me to cover, put it in the comments. We are going to build Black, buy Black, bank Black, barter Black, build Black. We are going to hold each other accountable. We finna get in these books. We finna do this work. We finna heal. We about to build, y'all. Like, this is, you know, when they say in such a time as this, you may not be a believer, but you're here for a reason. You're here for a season. The ancestors, they believe you are. You're here to fight, and not just for yourself. You're here to fight, and not just for yourself. But you fight with people that will fight with you. If you can't trust them, don't you dare late. Don't be.
Probably drink.
We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. I wanna talk about it, but I'll be late for work. And if you're saying, wait a minute, do we have to stop this? We had one, but she didn't want that lady in office. Hostile government takeover. am surprised.